So you're now treating patients with cannabis products.
Well, that's one part of what we're doing. I'm not a physician, so I collaborate with clinicians looking at the activities of the compounds found in cannabis. Now, there are two main compounds. THC, that produces the psychoactivity, and so one should give very small amounts, and cannabidiol, which does not produce any psychoactivity and can be given at very high levels because it does not cause any major side effects.
Right.
And just as an example, the first time we did a clinical work with collaborators in Brazil in epilepsy, we found that after work on mice, of course, we gave a clinical trial. 8 patients got a placebo, so 8 patients got a material, and we could stop in about 50% of the patients, 4 out of 8, we could stop their epileptic attacks. 3 out of the 8 had much less, and 1, it didn't affect him at all. Right. And we published that, and I thought, well, now that there is some initial work, people will go ahead and look at these compounds on a much larger scale. I mean, as an academic, I can't do much more.
Yeah.
Nothing happened 35 years. Now, that's a shame, because we could have, or our observations could have helped a lot of children, adults. Now, parents in the US discovered that if they gave their children that had epilepsy, pediatric epilepsy, and it's a very, very unpleasant situation, if they gave them cannabis with high doses of cannabidiol, they could affect their epileptic attacks. Right. So the only place in the US at that time, 3 or 4 years ago, was I think Colorado, and they moved to Colorado and started giving them, and it seems to work.
Right.
So now there is a clinical trial on a large scale. Now, why did we have to wait 35 years? I mean, the hundreds, thousands of children could have been helped.
Yeah. Do you think it's to do with the taboo that cannabis is related to people smoking marijuana? Every country in the world has declared it illegal, although many countries are now making medical exemptions for the use of cannabis. Do you think the public's attitude needs to change and regard smoking it as one thing, but the actual cannabis as a drug should be totally separate, as a medical drug, should be considered totally separate and maybe legalized separately?
You're completely right.
Yeah.
There should be a complete separation, between medical cannabis and recreational cannabis.
Yeah.
Medical cannabis should be regulated according to medical rules.
Yeah.
If somebody goes to a physician, he doesn't tell him just take antibiotics, bye-bye. He will tell him exactly what to take, what the doses are, how long he should take it, how he should take it, and so on. So in many places they think that medical marijuana is just a drug, take it and go away. No, it should be regulated according to well-established medical regulations, medical principles. I mean, we've had that now for 200 years.
Yeah.
And
similarly, heroin is used illegally. Heroin's also used legally, medically.
Yeah. So we should have a medical regulation, exact doses, and not everything is good for every disease. Cannabidiol is good, as I said previously, for epilepsy.
Yeah.
THC is good for post-trauma.
Right.
Things of that sort. Pain, both compounds are active. Cancer, I am not sure we can speak about it.
Yeah.
But that's the medical part. The recreational part is a social issue.
Sure.
Completely a social issue. If the population in a certain country thinks that it should be allowed, then okay, it should be allowed. It's a social issue. Populations have decided many years ago that tobacco is allowed, although it's a toxic compound, a very toxic. Or alcohol, 50% alcohol in whiskey. Oh yes, it's allowed.
Yeah.
But that's a social issue. It has nothing to do if you had asked the medical people or asked the medical people, should tobacco be allowed? The medical people would say no, but that's a medical decision. Things of this sort are social issues that have to be decided on a different basis. So one should see a complete separation.